Hello everybody, what is up, and welcome to the one and only episode 3 of the official PlayStation podcast of PlaystationFollower, the PS ProCast. My name is Christian Buckley, and as always, I'm joined by fellow PSF member Omar Nakvi.
What's good?
If you don't know, the PS ProCast is where myself, Omar, and maybe some PSN friends now and then get together and talk PlayStation and the gaming industry every week. It's broken up into 4 different segments and gets released Monday through Thursday, and then the show in its entirety gets posted on Friday on both our YouTube channel or as an MP3 on SoundCloud, linked down below. So Omar, what is going on?
Dude, not too much. I did some stuff this week. I went to PAX East, because that's just around here. Had a blast. Played way too much Zelda. I'm all good with that now. But yeah, I went to PAX.
Yeah, so, out of the way very quick. We're recording this on Sunday just because you did go to PAX and we wanted to get PAX info this week to release. So
yeah,
we have a couple things that release later on in the week just because of not recording Friday, but it will release the same way as always. I guess we should just hop into what we've been playing.
Yeah, sure. I assume you've been checking out that Ghost Recon, right?
Yes. Quickly first, I wanted to mention, though, I've been playing Danganronpa 1-2 Reload.
All right.
Yeah.
Those games are really good.
Yeah,
or at least I love them.
Yeah, so I never had a Vita, but those games always sort of enticed me to try and want to get one, just because everything about them appeals to me.
Yeah, I feel like with the Vita, like, the selling point for the Vita was, like, the indie games, Persona 4 Golden, and the Danganronpa games.
Yeah,
right.
So quickly for the people that don't know, Danganronpa is basically rated M Phoenix Wright in Japan.
Totally.
That's the best way I can describe it, but I've been playing a lot of that. I'm a decent way through the second one. I just wanted to try and get those done ASAP so I can get the review out because NIS sent us a code for it. But yeah, I'm really digging that. So
I like your Ace Attorney comparison. But also, I'd like to add that I feel like those games kind of have a similar vibe sometimes to the Persona series too, in the bonding with the classmates kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like a neat blend. It's mostly kind of that those VN type of games, but those games are good.
Yeah. So the review for 1-2 Reload should be up Monday. Trying to get it out then. But, yeah, so Ghost Recon Wildlands, though, I've been getting a lot of time in on that.
So I've seen some clips of it from, like, of the writing. And the writing in that game looks kind of bad. Or have you seen the clip where the guy's, like, or have you heard this in game where someone, like, counts baby makes 3?
Yep.
What is it? What is that?
I guess it's something like when you're tagging enemies in a base.
Yeah.
Because when you have, like, the full Ghost team of AI, they just have, like, banter when they're traveling.
Okay.
And they talk very frequently.
Yeah.
It's not the best delivery, but, yeah, so Ghost Recon Wildlands, I'm also going to try to get the review out for this week. It's been a wild ride with Ghost Recon because the beta, we talked about that. Talked about the release last week. I got it in the middle of last week. I ended up getting the code a couple days after launch. Yeah, so I probably put somewhere around 5 hours in total into the game so far. I'm seeing some issues that I had in the beta being fixed with things, but now that the full game is unlocked, it's more problems with other things.
So, okay. So I played the beta. Well, you know what? Like, what are you seeing with the other stuff then? Like, what else in the new game, in the full game, is like?
It's mainly like the story and like the writing.
Okay.
They just kind of feel like C-level Hollywood movie, you know?
Oh no. Well, I feel like that can be really good though sometimes.
Kind of like if the delivery is good and it sounds really stupid, yeah, but like
this isn't endearing or anything.
No, like the voice actors they have. They're not doing a bad job. It's like they're taking it very seriously, but like the writing, the way it's written, it should be like some crazy Michael Bay level stuff, you know?
Yeah, it should be like Bad Boys 2, right? Or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, the gameplay loop is very fun. It's cool to sort of, it's basically a Ubisoft game, like what you do when you try and clear a map, where it's never really required, but in this, the purpose is basically clear the map. So
Oh, like is that like a main game objective kind of thing?
yeah, because like what you do is, so you're trying to get El Sueño, I believe, is the main villain of the cartel,
Okay.
and the entire map is broken up into territories, and each section of the map, when you go there, you have to sort of do different types of missions, gather intel, take down other people, subordinates, and stuff like that. And that sort of clears the map for you, and you work your way towards El Sueño.
So how do you populate the map? Are there like towers in the game too, like every Ubisoft game?
No.
Okay.
So what you do in this is, if I just hop in a helicopter and I fly around and I go towards different locations in each region, the map, like it gets revealed. Like the cloud over the map disappears.
Oh, okay.
So
You do that by driving to the regions?
yeah, it's just like if you fly over, drive through, or explore it, it sort of fills out that way. But
Oh,
there
okay.
are places where you can find document files or ask locals to give you information about the area, and then it fills out that way too. But it didn't take me very long for a region to become uncovered.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Well, I mean, sounds like a Ubisoft game, but that kind of design kind of makes me like games less these kind of days where it's like, I don't know, it's just I want to do your main thing, but
hmm
that just seems like kind of busy work at some point, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, in this at least, nothing overstays its welcome when it comes to missions.
That's good.
Mainly, it's sort of infiltrate a base, kill the people there, or sneak through, get a weapon, gather intel, steal a vehicle, deliver it to the rebels of the country, stuff like that. So it's not like you're investing a ton of time into the same types of missions. It's probably 5 of each type of mission in each region, and each mission you do lasts probably like 1 to 2 minutes, maybe 5.
Is there a progression system in the game, like a leveling up kind of thing?
Yes, I think
Okay.
right now I'm a level 10. It's just sort of based on exploration, how much you use your tech, gathering skill points to level up, and learning about the country. That's sort of what the progression's like.
All right. You playing co-op?
I've only managed to try and get probably an hour's worth of co-op in because I don't know anybody who has it yet.
Yeah.
So I was just doing like matchmaking. And yeah, that's sort of what my experiences has been so far. I want to try and get a few more hours done before the review comes out this week. But yeah, what about PAX? How's that?
PAX is great. I've been going to PAX for like the past 5 years now, I think. But I think the stuff I played yesterday made for like my favorite PAX experience yet. I'll just start this off with I guess the biggest game I played. Well, not the biggest, but like something I didn't expect to play at PAX East yesterday. But I played the new Sonic game.
How was that? I'm really
So-
excited for that.
Okay, that new Sonic game is like really good.
All right,
I think. Like so I played the Sonic Mania game, this throwback to 16-bit Sonic era on an Alienware computer. And but anyway, so the game they had the 2 levels there. There was the Green Hill Zone remix level
Okay.
and then Studiopolis. First up, Green Hill Zone, just like every Sonic game, it was very straightforward and very pleasant. Soundtrack was on point. Just ran really fast, jumped a lot. Wonderful time. Sonic did not transform into a werewolf or anything like that. I saw none of Sonic's friends.
That's good.
It was great. It was great. Second level, Studiopolis, was back into that kind of you know, in those old Sonic games, you'd get into some of the levels there were pretty frustrating in some ways.
Yeah.
Like in terms of level design, like it's not really about going fast anymore. It's kind of more about stopping around and kind of puzzling your way out of the levels.
Yeah.
Like
I
often
think-
you'd be having the momentum, but then you'd stop.
Yes.
Yeah, like that got into more of that stuff, which I've never really been too fond of.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I think one that's coming to me right now is I think it was Sonic 2 had the casino level.
Yes.
And that was awful.
Yeah. I think some people really like those, but
I mean, they're designed, or the art in them are designed well.
yeah,
But,
totally.
like, level-wise, they are pretty frustrating just because of what Sonic is.
They totally are. And I was playing this and like puzzling my way through it, stumped a lot in front of the guy who runs the Sonic Twitter account. So like I felt a bit of pressure there. I met him though; he seemed really cool.
That's awesome. They have a great Twitter.
Yeah, they've been really smart about that stuff.
Yeah.
And Sega marketing, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of fun puzzling my way through that level though. It was satisfying in the end.
So,
and the art and the soundtrack were on point.
right, so I haven't looked into it a ton, but it's sort of going after how you remember Sonic being, right? Like most of the spiritual successor follow-up things, they're just sort of going after what you remember instead of replicating exactly.
I feel like this seemed a lot like that. You mentioned the casino zone, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that was probably a really accurate like representation of how those games felt at the time.
Oh, okay.
Or like or at least I don't know, like I played Sonic 1 and 2 like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And those games frustrated me back then, right? I mean, last year.
Yeah.
So this one was just as frustrating for me too.
Okay.
It seemed like an accurate representation of like what this like if this game came out as like Sonic 4 in like 93 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it would have been fine.
Okay.
And been great for those fans.
Yeah.
I don't know, like 3 years ago I was at PAX East and I played Sonic 4. Or maybe that was 4 years ago now, but yeah, like just such a change and change in strategy to how these games have been for a while.
Yeah. Well, what I want after this is Sonic Adventure 3.
I wonder. I feel like we were nearing that announcement. Like, do you remember that Sonic stream last year where they announced this game and Sonic Generations 2? It looked like.
Yeah, they had the people that did all the music for Sonic Adventure there, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're getting there.
I hope so.
Real talk right now, I feel like those Sonic Adventure games aren't good.
Oh, they're terrible, but
they're really bad.
Yeah, they're not good, but I love them.
I love that first one where you see that whale comes up out of the bridge.
Yeah.
That's a great moment.
Yeah. Well,
Whenever I replay that game, that's about where I get, and then I stop.
Some people would also say that Sonic 06 is Adventure 3.
I think it totally is, right? But
yeah.
I honestly, I hope no one comes after me for this, but I feel like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 in 2006 are on similar levels of quality. But Sonic 2006 is way more buggy.
Yeah. I was gonna say 06 is way more broken, but I think the other two, they play fine. It's just like they're not great games, but
yeah, it's really hard to bring Sonic into a 3D environment. I think Generations, with the Sonic 2000 Sonic with the new Sonic levels, right? They did a great job with that. But I think that's about the best 3D Sonic has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So my next game. Saw this game called Ape Out by Devolver.
Yes, you showed me that.
Yeah, I had not heard of this game at all before. I think it's only PC right now, but hopefully it comes to PS4. But that game is super cool.
So,
it's what's up?
Yeah, I was gonna say I looked at the trailer quick, but how would you describe? Did you get to play it?
Yeah, I totally did.
Okay, so is it like twin stick controller, or is it like what is it?
Did you ever play Hotline Miami?
Yes.
Like that.
Okay.
There are like pillars and you can like hide behind them to kind of like avoid or stealth around, not stealth around, but like, there are ways to surprise people and you die in about like 2 hits, right? In this game.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fast, but I should just describe it right now. It's like it's top down like Hotline Miami is, right? But the art is like it has about like 2 or 3 colors going around on screen right now or at any point. It's like mostly a blue level, and you play as like a gorilla in like a silhouette kind of form, like those Donkey Kong Country Returns levels. Remember those?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like that kind of thing. It's super super gorgeous to look at, and you just try and escape this prison you're in, I guess, and you're doing this to a like very jazz like soundtrack, almost like a mix of like Birdman and like Cowboy Bebop or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool pace. Like it feels awesome, and like whenever you kill someone, you hear like a cymbal crash and everything.
I like that. That's cool.
It feels so satisfying, and it has like you saw the like when you kill someone, like a bunch of blood pours out.
Yes.
Like that red over that blue, it just looks so good, and it feels so good to play. I don't know. I totally feel like this is the sequel that Hotline Miami deserved, rather than Hotline Miami 2. But yeah, in terms of soundtrack, like this jazz vibe to it, totally feels much different to like Hotline Miami's kind of drive synthwave soundtrack, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Then I went to the Sony booth, right?
Yes.
And at the Sony booth, I saw Nex Machina, which is Housemarque's new game that they're developing with Eugene Jarvis.
All right, so quickly run down the lineage of Housemarque games.
They made Super Stardust, right, on PS3?
Yes.
Right, they did that for a while. And then I think at some point they made Dead Nation. Yeah, I think they've been around for a while. I think they made like the first Super Stardust, like, didn't they make like Stardust in like the 90s for like the Atari or something?
Yeah, I think it was 93, but they also did Resogun.
Right, they did Resogun and they did Alien Nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those two games. Resogun was like the first PlayStation 4 Plus game.
Mm-hmm.
Came out like PS4 launch. Probably the best PS4 launch game, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, Eugene Jarvis though, he's the guy that made Defender, I believe, and Smash TV, which were both huge games back then in like the early 90s or something.
What was the like setup for that one? Because I know most of their stuff is themed. So what vibe did this one have?
Oh man, it's like super futurist, right? It's like, I don't know, it looked kind of like, I actually don't know what the setting would be, but it's like you're in this jungle, but it's all super future-like, and there are a bunch of like robots coming at you and trying to kill you, right? So you use your right stick to shoot at them, but also kind of like Resogun, there are people around that you try to save.
Okay.
And it's super fast-paced, and like there's an awesome dash mechanic, and the soundtrack is great. It's just a cool experience to play that.
Yeah, well, they definitely have a good track record, so it's cool to see them branching out into another sort of environment when it comes to their settings.
Totally, and this is actually their most like fast-paced game too, I feel like.
Oh, that's really good though.
Which is like it's so crazy to play that game, but it feels so good.
So what else did Sony have at their booth? I know you mentioned they had Crash, but you didn't get to play that, right?
Yeah, okay, so they had Crash Bandicoot, and I tried to get in, but they didn't let me. So, I don't know. I looked at people play it, though, for a while. Mm-hmm. That game looks like it's coming together really well.
Yeah.
It looks like Crash Bandicoot. I looked at it, I think it was 30 frames per second, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it looked like a 30 frame per second game, which I don't know. I like my platformers at 60.
Uh-huh.
But that game looked just fine how it was running.
I mean, they still have 3 months, 4 months?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe the PS4 Pro will play it at 60 or something.
Oh god.
Yeah. or maybe when it comes out to PC at some point. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't see why it wouldn't, but I don't know. Maybe it won't. Well, when it first was announced, I was pretty skeptical of how it would come together from the Skylanders developers.
Yeah.
Because first, remember the character art, how it used to be? For how they did Crash?
Crash for Skylanders?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looked very blocky, like Skylanders.
Yeah, it didn't look great, but nah, this game I think it's in good hands. Like,
yeah, I know when they demoed it at PSX, they had the team interviewing for it, and they seemed very passionate about it, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Also there was the Gran Turismo Pro.
How is that? Wait, is it Pro or Sport that's coming
out?
out?
Oh, sorry, yeah, it's Sport. I don't know why I said Pro. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get to play it because this guy was like playing this like really huge lap that I think like he maybe progressed like 1 mile in like 5 minutes. I don't know. I waited in the line for a bit, but then I left. But the game looks good visually. Like it's just like all of Polyphony Digital's games. They look really good. There's a beta sign up for that going on right now, right?
Yes, I signed up for it the other day. It is a private beta. I think they're going to let people know at the end of this week. I'm not sure, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you haven't signed up for it, I'd check it out because GT is a very big PlayStation franchise, and Sport is sort of a spin-off, so it'd be cool to see them switch up what they do with Gran Turismo as far as the mainline games go.
Yeah, I can't figure out if this is like Gran Turismo 7 or like prologue to Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah, it's probably running on the same engine they're using for 7, because 7 is no doubt being worked on, but I think this is probably just an introduction to what they're going to be doing moving forward.
Yeah, I wonder, because like maybe they're just trying to get rid of the 7 names and stuff, like the huge numbers. I don't know, because like Gran Turismo 5 was in development for like 5 years or something.
That was a long time.
Like, well, probably longer than that even, but like I remember buying a PS3 in like 2006, expecting Gran Turismo to be out like very soon, and then it came out in 2011 or something, or 2010.
Yeah, it was a gap.
Recently, the best racing I've been playing is like that Forza Horizon series.
Yeah, I think as far as racing goes, Microsoft has pulled forward.
The Forza games are so good. Like I would love to see Gran Turismo come back and be comparable on that to the Forza games, but it's felt like it's been kind of irrelevant for me, at least for the past few years.
So as far as the rest of the show goes, though, did you see mostly indie titles?
Well, I saw a couple more indie titles, I guess, at the PlayStation booth.
Oh, okay, like what?
Like Windjammers.
Ah, yep.
They're remastering that. That game is really huge, and like I think in the competitive scene in France. It's a Neo Geo game from like SNK or Data East.
Okay.
From I don't know, I assume the 90s, right? That's probably when it came out. It has to.
It seems very 90s.
It has to be 90s. That game has an amazing soundtrack, and that game feels great to play. It's I played it with my friend Frankie, who we just did one game. He had never seen it before, but he still owned me at it. So yeah, it's kind of working at it like a fighting game, very competitive. It's fun. I like it.
That's cool.
I think that new game that came out on PS4 Plus, Disc Jam, is made in essence of Windjammers. Like it's like a spiritual successor to it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like from the gameplay.
I tried to play Double Fine's Full Throttle Remastered at PAX at the PlayStation booth, but sadly the game had crashed and I couldn't play it.
Oh damn!
But Double Fine remastering those LucasArts games is my favorite thing in the industry right now.
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
They remastered Day of the Tentacle, which is legitimately one of the best games of all time. I'll fight you on this.
No, yeah, it's really good. I played it on Plus when it was free in January.
Did you finish it?
I got close to the end. I think something else came out and took my attention away from it, but it was really good. I loved it.
It holds up really well, right?
It does, yeah.
Like, yeah, those games are great. Like, man, I love those Tim Schafer games so much.
Yeah.
That was him and his first. Like, he wrote some of Monkey Island, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
with Ron Gilbert was leading that. Mm-hmm. Then Tim Schafer then branched off, and I believe Day of the Tentacle was his and Gary Winnick's kind of thing. Okay. Their first kind of big game together. And then he kind of, branched off and did a bunch of stuff eventually and made Double Fine and did Brutal Legend and Psychonauts and did another point-and-click game like Broken Age the other year.
Yes.
Also great. That was that whole Kickstarter thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And
that.
yeah, Full Throttle was Tim Schafer's as well. I never got to play that one, sadly, but that game apparently is great. So I bet it is because that guy makes good games. And what else did I see? Oh, I saw this game called Everything at PlayStation.
Yeah, you were mentioning that. What is it?
So honestly, when I saw it, I played it, and I still couldn't have told you what it was. But I looked it up. It's this game about, like, if you see something, you can be it.
Okay.
So, like, you're in this environment, and say, when I first approached the booth, I saw this, like, rabbit freaking out. He was bouncing up and down and stuff, so then I played it. And I was just this rabbit walking around, like, jumping around.
Okay.
And then I was like, whatever, I'll play this later, and I'll let my friend play it here. And so then I went over to play Nex Machina, and then I went back to my friend who was still playing everything, and then I saw that he was playing like as a planet, and it was some crazy space game where he was like cloning planets and duplicating them.
What?
And I was like, what is that? What's going on here? And so then I picked up the controller again and couldn't actually figure out what was going on. So I was like, okay. Yeah, it's crazy.
How is there a game there?
I don't think there is a game. It's like a cool thing, though.
Yeah, so it's just like a simulator then?
Kind of a sim thing, yeah. Like, I don't know. I looked it up. The guy who was making that game worked on this game called Mountain for the PC, which was like, I think it was just a simulator of a mountain that would like change seasons. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, this totally sounds like that guy then making this game. And I read the description. It was like, you can be a tree in this game. You can be a strand of DNA. You could be a mountain. You could be a planet. You could be did I say tree already?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
So, do you think that something like this... So, was this a PC or was it PS4?
This is a PS4 game that I played.
Okay, did they have a...
It was at the PlayStation booth, actually. So PlayStation was actually showing this game.
Okay, so did they have a release or anything, or window for release?
I didn't see one, but I looked up on Twitter, and the guy says it's coming soonish.
Alright, well...
So, throw us a review code, and I'll be happy to check that out.
Sure, you can take care of that.
Because that's a cool, weird thing that Sony's promoting, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, well... We're gonna get into this later, but they gotta be a little more careful with what they show for their indie games.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, because everything, just the name of it sounds like has a lot to live up to. So
yeah, it might.
I mean, well, we're talking about No Man's Sky, but
yeah.
if this could be their chance to like sort of show that they learn from their mistake, I guess, if they want to push this, but
like, dude, if they came up on E3 with this game, that'd be nuts.
Yeah,
this isn't that kind of game, and I bet No Man's Sky was never that kind of game either.
Oh no! But
they did it. Yeah. So, can I mention like a few more things? I won't go too in deep about it, but I'll just mention them. Mm-hmm. All right. So, at the Devolver booth still, they had Strafe. Have you heard of this game? Yeah. It's like it looks like Doom or Quake from ID Software, but it's actually like a rogue-like kind of game where it's every level is randomly generated, and you're picking up loot, and you can pick up guns, and you can't shoot your enemies with it, and it feels very cool. I think that's out this month.
Oh, really?
Looks cool. I'll probably play anything Devolver puts out. I think they're a really interesting publisher.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. And
I want Absolver.
Yeah, so what is Absolver, actually? Because that was at the other booth next to me. That Devolver was showing. I didn't really see it, but like, is it a fighting game? Or am I...
It's an MMO fighting game, and you create your own martial arts style.
Yeah, I had no idea what that was. That looks really cool, though.
Yeah, I think, I forget when they showed it off. It was either at PSX or E3 last year, but I was sold the second I saw that game.
Yeah, I saw that game, and I was like, this looks kind of For Honor-esque, right?
Yeah, the combat.
Like, a little bit, but yeah, that's a really weird game. When is that coming out?
I'm pretty sure it's this year.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea what that is, but I'm kind of sold on it. Mm-hmm. Like, they had a huge booth for that.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad that's getting more attention.
Yeah, also at Devolver, there was Ruiner, right?
Oh, yeah.
I did not get a chance to play Ruiner, but that game looks awesome. Like, oh my god. It's like a top-down, like... Is it a twin-stick shooter?
I think so.
Yeah, kind of like that, I guess. But, like, has this awesome art style, like, real atmospheric, and has, like, fog everywhere. It kind of looks like Blade Runner-ish. Mm-hmm. And the soundtrack was great, and he had the sword, and he was slashing people up. It looked super satisfying and fun. Then I also saw Emily is Away 2, T-O-O.
Yep.
This is a sequel to Emily is Away, a free-to-play game on Steam. Mm-hmm. Emily is Away is a weird one where it's like, it's like a fake IM client where you're talking to your friend Emily through the years or something in like college and like branching away. It's about like the relationship between you and her post high school and moving on,
Yes.
but you're communicating through IM. It's a really cool experience, and like my favorite thing about it at the time was like you type stuff on your keyboard like in real time, and it writes in a message, but it makes a really satisfying keyboard noise in the game. So you could just be like just tapping a bunch on your keyboard, and it sounds great. Like you'll be slamming it, and it'll be awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that fake IM stuff, and like with Emily is Away 2, the developer is doing it in the best way in terms of making a sequel to the game. And instead of just the fake IM stuff, he's now making a fake 2006 internet.
Yeah,
right.
It seems like a very good approach to moving forward.
Right, and I even got a link to a YouTube, a link to YouTube from her, right?
Okay.
And like it was 2006 YouTube with a 5-star rating and everything.
Oh wow!
Like that was awesome. I don't know how they're doing that, but
that's really cool.
it was super cool. And I was actually convinced that the whole desktop was fake. So like I clicked on the developer's like Firefox browser because I assumed that was in the game, but actually it was just his Firefox browser. So that was weird. But yeah, that game looks awesome. Talked to the developer, he was super cool. I can't wait. I love the first game. I recommend everyone check it out on Steam because it's free to play. Mm-hmm. Oh, I should mention Has Been Heroes, right?
Yes, is that coming to PS4?
That's coming to everything on March 28th. A Switch,
Awesome.
PS4, I think Xbox, PC, whatever. Mm-hmm. That game is awesome. Well, okay. I don't know if it's awesome. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here. But like, I played like a 30-minute demo of it where someone running the kiosk had to explain to me how it worked exactly. Because when you first see it, I have like no idea what's going on in that game. It's like super strategic and it has so many moving parts. But the developer basically sat me down, told me what was going on, and like described it to me as like kind of like a rhythm game.
Okay.
Which there's no music and you're not like queuing up the stuff to hit. Like it's not Guitar Hero, but I can kind of see what they're getting at because you very much do get into a flow of like pausing the combat and unpausing as if it was a turn-based game, but then bringing it back to real time. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I could see myself getting really invested in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious about it, and I'm excited to see what it is. Like, I will play that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, also it's a roguelike. So
okay.
I think it's like loot, whatever, random generation, all that. Looks cool.
That's good to hear then.
Mm-hmm. So that was about everything I saw at PAX. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Did I say anything about ukulele?
Oh, no.
I didn't. Yeah, okay. I saw people play ukulele. I didn't get a chance to play it, but I just watched people play it. That game looks pretty gorgeous, I think.
Yeah, it looks
like,
really good.
I think I've seen some videos of it before, and I've been kind of like skeptical about it because like that casino level or whatever, right? That IGN put out looked really bad to me, art style wise.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I got similar vibes to some of the levels from Nuts and Bolts, like visually, but
sure.
going after the whole nostalgic vibe of what Banjo and Banjo-Tooie and like DK64 and Conquer, I think going forward with that, those worlds were always sort of barren, but I think it just looks a bit more jarring now just because the visual quality is so much higher.
Yeah.
I think that's just a natural problem that they're going to run into, replicating those older collectathons and like trying to be faithful but modernizing it. So I think that's something inherent that they're going to run into, and they, based on what I've seen of it, they have. But yeah, I really can't wait for ukulele.
Yeah, even like also to your point, the budget, right? It's not like it doesn't have the budget of like Assassin's Creed, right?
And the team.
Yeah, and it's like 6 people or something, maybe 10. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been growing slowly, but it's basically the same size of the team they had when they made something like Banjo or Conquer.
Right, and that was for making something for the scale of the Nintendo 64.
Yes.
But now they're making this game for modern consoles, and like 5 of them at that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, also to note, it was running at 60 frames per second.
That's great.
Which is always nice to see a platformer do that, because the jumping definitely feels way better when it is like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That game looks great. I saw like an ice level, and it looked very nice.
Yeah, I've seen screens of the snowy ice level. It looks really good.
Yeah. I really love this year's show, honestly.
Yeah.
There's some really good stuff around.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess just in general, it's a good time for games.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, man, any game you like or any genre you like, you'll have something coming out for you this year.
Yeah, well, it seems like even indie-wise, there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming.
Totally.